Hey, first things first, I want to give a content warning. This is a video about Animal Crossing, but it is also a video about my body and food and body image and mental health and even pandemic grief. So if those are things that you don't want to hear about, look, I totally understand that. I get that that's not something that everyone can watch. It doesn't bother me. I've got plenty of great videos on this channel that you can go watch. That said, I have been working on this video for a while and I really appreciate if you can stay and if you'd like to stay. Anyway, here's the video. I haven't played Animal Crossing New Horizons in a while, at least until making this video. And the thing about that is that you probably haven't played it in a while either, unless you're brand new to the game. Very few people have continued playing Animal Crossing New Horizons on a regular basis. And now, a lot's been said about the timing of the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons at the beginning of the pandemic, only a little over a week after most people were sent home from their office jobs. And you know, there's truth in that. It is right that New Horizons took off because people were at home with not a lot to do. But I also think that people were looking for something to have control of. In a time where we'd all lost control of, most aspects of our lives, we were grasping for some sense of that control, and we found it in this video game. Now, there were plenty of games that we could have been playing in the early pandemic, but one of the reasons that Animal Crossing New Horizons, I think, took off so immediately was because those first 30 days in this game are just incredibly tight. They are done so well. You have achievable goals, you are trying to get the shops open, you're trying to upgrade your house, you're trying to get the next tool. I remember one of the first things that I wanted to do was just get to the parts of my island that I couldn't reach. And I actually kind of hacked that because a friend actually gave me a vaulting pole a little earlier than I was supposed to get it in the game. You're doing updates to your island and making sure it's designed well, and like I said, upgrading your house and inviting new villagers to live there. All for the purpose of getting KK Slider to come perform a concert. It's a list of tasks that are achievable. It takes some time, but it's a project that you can work on. And for me, was a sense of control. It was something that I could work towards and something I knew that I could achieve. But the thing about this early game is that I kind of speed ran it. I binged it, if you will. I'm not a time traveler. I didn't change the dates on my Nintendo Switch so that I could speed up time to, make the game easier to play. I'm not judging you if you did that. I speed ran the game in different ways. I got really into the turnip game. I would buy turnips on Sunday morning and then go either into the Animal Crossing Discord or into my friend group's Slack and find someone who had a shop that was buying turnips at high prices. And that's how I made the 11 million bells that I am still spending today. That really unlocked most of the game for me. When I got those 11 million bells, it didn't take that long for me to get KK Slider to show up. And once he did, the next achievable goal was really getting the 5-star island. And that wasn't that hard. It turns out you just have to put a bunch of crap on your island. And then what comes next? Is it designing, making things pretty? I did get into that for a while, but it didn't hold my attention. I'm not really a person who has his own ideas for that kind of thing, so my island looks great, but it's very much just what was trendy in like June 2020. And there's an empty spot that, has been sitting there undone since really August of last year. And this pattern of how I looked for control and then binged on it in Animal Crossing showed up not just in the game, it showed up in the rest of my life during the early pandemic as well. During that time, I was looking for any pleasurable thing that I could find. And one of those things was a smoothie shop that I had been going to for about a year on a regular basis. It was just kind of one of those simple pleasures that I didn't realize that I was gonna miss so much. And early on, we bought a fancy blender so that we could make those smoothies at home. And what my daily routine became was making one of these giant-sized smoothies and sitting on my couch playing Animal Crossing. In fact, often, all that I would eat in a day was 2 of those and then whatever we had for dinner. Now, I'm not saying that smoothies are bad or that I shouldn't be eating fruit. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But it was a repetition and an obsession that I couldn't shake. It was something that was comforting to me, but that seeking out that comfort in the way that I did quickly became unhealthy. I've always had that sort of obsessive instinctual nature, and in some times of my life, that's been easier to ignore. But with the pandemic ongoing, it was impossible to ignore. And intellectually, I believe that re-entering the world post-vaccine in a much larger body than the one that I entered into the pandemic in is completely fine. I intellectually believe that my body got me through a pandemic, and that is okay. However it got me through that pandemic is fine. But emotionally, I haven't reckoned with any of that. There's a couple reasons that I will not film a video. And one of them is my hair. It's actually a little too long right now. But the other is my feelings about my body, the shame and the guilt. You'll notice that I often don't show myself, anywhere really below here on this channel. And, most of that's because my camera's mounted right in front of me and I don't really want to move it. But it's also because I can't get through editing the videos where I do show those parts of myself. There's a couple on here, and editing those videos was really hard. And going back and watching them, I skipped the parts where I, show more of myself. And that shame and that guilt, those are feelings that are related to Animal Crossing New Horizons as well. I know, I don't want to make it sound too deep, but they really are in the game. Have you logged into Animal Crossing New Horizons after a month or so? And have your villagers walked up to you and told you exactly how many days it's been since the last time they talked to you? Yeah, that's the shame that I'm talking about. Or have you walked into your house and seen cockroaches running all over the place? Or have you noticed the bed head that you get when you walk out of your house when you turn on the game for the first time in a month? To me, that's the game shaming me. And in my darkest times, I'm afraid of the world shaming me for re-emerging as me, but 60 pounds heavier than I was, a year and 3 months ago. I'm afraid of the judgment I'll get for not being able to wear the clothes that I used to be able to, for only being able to wear t-shirts and shorts and jeans, things that, don't make me excited to wear them. I saw a TikTok yesterday that referred to shame as an external emotion and guilt as a selfish emotion, and it really resonated with me. I'd never really separated those two emotions from each other. But guilt is in this game too. Or, it can be if you're as anxious as me. You know that one section of my island I said that's been undone for months? Well, a while back, I made this sort of outdoor musical performance area, and I just hated the way it looked. So I started tearing it down and then kind of half did it and didn't log back in for a couple months. And it's just been that way since last August. Weeds started growing there when it was snow season. That was where, the snowmen popped up. That's where tarantulas show up sometime because there's enough kind of open area for tarantulas to show up. But it's just been kind of a few random cliffs and a staircase. When I started thinking about making this video, I considered deleting my island, for the video, but I pretty quickly came to the conclusion that I couldn't do that. I think my goal is gonna be to finally finish this part of my island, to make it something nice, and then to release myself from that sort of self-imposed guilt of not playing this game anymore. I logged in, I started cleaning things up. I tore down all the extra cliffs. It was a shooting stars night. I invited some friends over and I showed them around my island because some of them hadn't been there before. And we made jokes about the outfits that I've had stored in my wand since, last summer. Lyman called me a himbo like he always does. I saw the abandoned house that my husband started on my island before getting his own Switch and the various items that he placed on my island that are still there. I couldn't delete this place, but I am gonna finish it and I won't feel guilty about it anymore. And I'm gonna keep going to therapy because I've gotta work on this body image. And honestly, I've got to work on this disordered eating. I can't keep letting it run my life. And there's one other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to start playing Animal Crossing New Leaf, and I'm not going to speedrun it. I'm just going to play it a bit at a time. I ran into Joan, who sells turnips in the game, and I turned her down. We're not doing that this time. I don't want to speedrun or binge Animal Crossing New Leaf. I just want to have fun and enjoy it on my own time. Hey y'all, thanks for watching this video. Again, if you liked it, please do like it here on YouTube and leave a comment telling me what you thought about it. Subscribe to the channel if you like stuff like this. And actually, if you are listening to me talking right now, then I am trying to get similarly minded folks to join that Discord and really get a community going in there. So go to matthorton.live for that link. I'll see y'all next time.